really going to be talking about is, have you really looked at a dollar bill? And this basically came to me, and it came from a guy by the name of Francis Townsend. Francis was one of our stalwart members of our coin club, and he had gotten it from someone else. And it said, I know this message goes back to September of last year, but as soon as I read it, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to send it to you. I'm a member of the Greater Houston Coin Club and have been for a number of years. In fact, this year, I'm vice president. I've served in all capacities except president over the past years and have made a few presentations at our monthly meetings. That is what I intend to do with this email. And Francis was going to make this presentation as to our club, which unfortunately Francis died in June. Was one of my best friends. Excuse me. Take out the dollar bill and just take a look at it. Yeah. What you're looking at really first came off the presses in 1957 in its current design. It's a so-called paper money, but in fact, most of us know that it's not paper. It's a blend of linen with red and blue minute silk fibers running through it. And those are primarily for counterfeit detection purposes. And they're constantly changing the bill. Actually, the $1 bill hasn't changed that much. I'm sure you know that the 10, the 20, and the 5 have all changed recently from this particular design. And the reason why they have is they're trying to stay ahead of the counterfeiters. And in most cases, the counterfeiters are not counterfeiting $1 bills. It's really not to their advantage to do so. So they felt that there's not a problem with the $1 bill, and now all of a sudden they're getting counterfeiters that are making multiple 1,000 runs $1 bills. And so they're seeing those come out, and this design will probably change either at the end of 2010, is my understanding. On the excuse me. If you take a look at the bill, you'll see it's a United States Treasury seal. If you look at the front, all right, and what we're looking at.
The better back.
Okay. Just like this. We're looking at the seal right here. The top, you'll see the balance. I mean, and the scales. And does anyone know why they're there? Now, you know, most of the time you see in the legal side, you see, all right, you want to pin that up or keep that up? Just in tape. Most of the time what you'll see is the scales of justice. Well, these are not the scales of justice. These are designed to be the scales of a balanced budget. And now in the center is a carpenter's T-square. Interesting. One, if you happen to be a reader of some of Dale Brown's books, he's very much into the Masons, particularly his new book, The Lost Symbol. And obviously the Masons have an impact on our dollar, as you'll find out. The center has a T-square, and it's used to be an even cut.
Which is the
Where?
T-square?
The T-square is right here, right there.
Okay.
Oh, this is
All right. And now that's pretty easy to figure out, but what is on the back of the dollar bill is something we should all know. Did you want this, David? This is not the series, so it doesn't work. It's this.
So right here.
Okay. Now, first of all, I talked about the Masons. 13 is a very lucky number for Masons. It's an unlucky number in America. We don't have 13 floors. Friday the 13th is not a lucky day. The question is why? It doesn't seem, if the Masons think it's a lucky number, how come in the rest of the world, or at least the United States, it is an unlucky number? what you'll find is that the Masons many times will tell stories that are not necessarily true to knock you off your tracks, and they were actually the proponents of Friday the 13th, and all 13 numbers is being unlucky. Since they built most of the buildings around here, they could have an impact on that. Don't have a 13th floor. Why? It's an unlucky number. No, it really isn't. It's a lucky number, but it's just counterintuitive the way they operate. Interesting bunch of guys. Okay. You'll see two circles, right? On the back. Both of them together comprise the Great Seal of the United States. The first is the Continental Congress requested that Benjamin Franklin and a group of men come up with a seal. It took them 4 years to accomplish, and which is interesting, and another 2 years to get it approved. I never knew that. Actually, I didn't. If you look at the left-hand circle, you see a pyramid. Notice the face is lighted, and the western side is dark. This is our country, and just in its formative stages. We had not begun to explore the West or decided what we could do with Western civilization. The pyramid is capped, again, signifying that it's not even close to being finished, that the United States at that time was a new product which was in its infancy and that would be added to. Inside that capstone, you will see what is called the all-seeing eye, an ancient symbol for divinity and also an ancient symbol in the Masonic Lodge. It was Franklin's belief that one man couldn't do it alone, but that a group of men, with the help of God, could do anything. So, in God we trust is on our currency. That's interesting, isn't it? Now, it took a minister in the middle of our country, I believe it was Illinois, to actually get in God and trust on our coins in the 30s. The Latin above the pyramid, Annuit Captus, means God has favored our undertaking. The Latin below the pyramid, and I cannot pronounce it, Novus Ordo Seclorum, means a new order has begun. The United States was a new order, unlike any country in the world. At the base of the pyramid is the Roman numeral for 1796. If you look at the right-hand side of the bill, over here, the right-hand circle, and you check it carefully, you will learn that it is on every national cemetery in the United States. It is also the Parade of Flags walkway at Bushnell, Florida National Cemetery. It is the centerpiece of most heroes' monuments. Slightly modified, it's the seal of the President of the United States and is always visible wherever he speaks. Yet no one knows what the symbols mean. The bald eagle was selected as a symbol for victory for two reasons. First, he's not afraid of a storm. He is strong and he's smart enough to soar above it. Secondly, he wears no material crown. We had just broken from the King of England, and consequently, nobody wanted to have any kings or queens or crowns. Also notice that the shield is unsupported. This country can now stand on its own. At the top of the shield, you have a white bar signifying Congress and a unifying factor. If we're coming together as if we are coming together as a nation. Once again, I'm going to go ahead of myself here, but count the feathers on the eagle. How many do we have?
Tail feathers or?
Yep, tail feathers.
7?
13.
13?
Count the number of brick layers in the pyramid. Count the number of lines, both the top lines and the bottom lines in the shield on top of the eagle's breast. I'll cut it short, it's 13. Count the number of arrows, 13. Get my drift? 13 was not thought to be a unlucky number. 13 was thought to be a lucky number, and we also had 13 colonies. So it's very symbolic all the way. In the eagle's beak, you will read E pluribus unum, thus meaning one nation from many. And above the eagle, you'll have 13 stars representing the 13 original colonies. And any clouds of misunderstanding are rolling away. The dollar bill is a symbol of all the things that our forefathers were talking about. And this dollar bill has all of that symbology. Again, we're coming together as one. Notice that the eagle holds in his talons. He holds an olive branch and he holds arrows. This country, and by the way, this is totally symbolic. And if you look at a Morgan silver dollar, you'll also see an eagle with its wings spread, and with an olive branch in one talon, and the arrows in the other.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Yes,
but
go right ahead.
I was looking at the eagle's tail feathers. I only count 9.
I think the 13.
Me too.
You are absolutely right. I stand corrected. Now, Doug, are you going to go back and count all the rest of them? They're right, though. The eagle holds, by the way, he holds the olive branch in his right talon. Why in his right talon? Does anyone know the symbol associated with that?
Peace, maybe the Son of God being on the right side of the Father.
Right side is the action side. Always consider the action side. So the olive branch is here saying, I come in peace. The arrows are here saying, if you don't like that, I'm prepared to come at war. All right? I'm going to back up what I'm saying. Very interesting, I think. Okay, holds it. This country wants peace, but we will never be afraid to fight to preserve peace in our way of life. The eagle always wants to face the olive branch, but in a time of war, his gaze turns toward the arrows. Sort of interesting, I think. They say that the number 13, here we go, is unlucky. This is almost a worldwide belief. If you will usually never see a room numbered 13 in any hotel or motel, you'll never see them on the 13th floor. But think about this. The 13 original colonies, 13 signers of the Declaration of Independence, 13 stripes on our flag, 13 steps on the pyramid, 13 letters in Latin above, 13 letters in E pluribus unum, 13 stars above the eagle, 13 plumes of feathers on each of the eagle's wings, 13 bars on the shield, 13 boughs on the olive branch, 13 leaves on the olive branch, 13 fruits, and if you look closely, 13 arrows. And for minorities, the 13th Amendment. I always ask people, why don't you know this? Your children don't know this, and their history teachers don't know this. Excuse me. Too many veterans have given up too much to ever let the meaning of this bill fail. And by the way, Francis was a veteran. Many veterans remember coming home to America, to an America that didn't care. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
You okay?
Yeah, I get somewhat emotional about this. Some of them never came back at all. There are 3 of us here. I'd like you all. I'm going to give you another $1 bill. And I'd like you to give that. I'd like you to tell them that it's a gift from a guy by the name of Francis Townsend. and share some of that thought process. Excuse me. Share some of that thought process and the symbology that is on the back of the dollar bill with them. It would be great if it were a youngster, but if you will, please. This came from Francis just before he died. Excuse me. Sorry.
What a great story. What a great tribute.
You know a guy I knew Francis for about 10 years, and you never really do know. I never thought Francis would do something like this. I never knew he was a veteran. I knew he was a patriot, but I never knew he had that much to say. And I got this in, I think it was April 25th. And he died on, I guess just about the 1st of June. And he wanted to make this presentation. So I'm glad I could share it with you guys. And I apologize for getting emotional. I'm actually more emotional here than at his funeral.
Tribute to Francis.
What was the significance of the number 13?
It's just a very lucky number. And it is a number, and the significance is that almost every one of the people that were asked to put together the shield, that were asked to sign the Declaration of Independence, almost every one of them were Masons. I don't know if you know it or not, but Washington, D.C. was supposed to be called New Rome. And it has an obelisk like Rome, which is our Washington monument. It is laid out like Rome. It has all of the places, as good as, if not better, the buildings built to actually be the Rome. And actually, you go way, way back to the Templars?
Knights Templars?
Lance Templars, which is the Masons in its reincarnation, was back at that particular time and defending Rome and all the things associated with it. And particularly when you start reading Dale Brown, you start getting all this stuff thrown at you that you say, oh my God, now it sort of goes together and makes sense. The last thing I wanted to say is that, I'm sorry, your name's? Chris, I'm Carl Schwenker. And one of the things that we've tried to do here at the show, and I don't know if you obviously are a coin collector or interested in coin collecting. The things we've tried to do with the show, with our presentations, which have not really been that well attended, is to help the public understand about money, but more importantly recently, to help the public understand how you can include rare coins and bullion in your portfolio without being ripped off. And the initial presentation yesterday had an attendance of 1, and it was how to include rare coins. Excuse me, it was how to determine what rare coins should be included in your portfolio. That is, how to determine what is real rarity. The next one, and a very logically followed, the next one was a guy by the name of Greg Bingham. And Greg gave us a presentation on what he called his 4 cornerstones, and then a 5th. The title of his presentation was A Collector's Approach to Investing. And Greg Bingham is probably best known for an auction, a heritage auction of his NFL collection of silver dollars. And he'll tell you that he trebled or quadrupled his money on those particular coins. And he told you there how we went about it. which I thought was extremely interesting. And then we had, taking it logically down, we had Don Willis, who was the president of PCGS. And Don talked about the value of third-party grading in today's world, which is a counterfeit world, unfortunately. And then he also talked about the things that PCGS brings to the table, which I was absolutely floored with. Weren't you? I was just, and I was even more floored with the fact that they have on their website right now, if you want to go in and grade a coin, they have 25 different series. That means basically from probably a 2-cent piece through $20 gold piece and all sorts of other things. And they have what's called photo grade. And you can go up there, it's free, pcgs.com. And they have starting from about good, I didn't see the poor, I don't remember poor, but about good, all the way up to MS70. So if you want to grade a coin, you just go in there, you just look at your coin, look at that, look at your coin, you got the grade. Then you go over to their price sheets, which are right there also on the sheet. Press that, and you can know what the value of the coin is. That's fantastic, I think. And by the way, in a counterfeit world, they guarantee what they do. And if you buy something from one of their PCGS dealers, I'm not pushing PCGS, but if you buy something from a PCGS dealer, that's guaranteed, even though it's counterfeit. It may be counterfeit, but they stand behind their dealers. Fantastic knowledge. The next presentation was I thought was very interesting. Wish I could have been here the whole time. Was Don Higgins talked about the various ways of putting gold in your portfolio. Well, and many people will tell you you can't put gold in your IRA. Well, the answer is yes, you can. And but the very safest way, the non-risk way, is basically to get gold coins in your hand, in the bank, in the safe deposit box, whatever. But he went through a number of ways that you can do it and actually put it into your IRA. Now, a lot of people now are not buying gold bullion as an investment to make money so much as they're investing in gold as a hedge against the dollar. The dollar's fall in value will probably see an increase in the value of gold. So as your dollar purchasing power goes down, your gold goes up. And then the last presentation, which unfortunately I had a fire that I had to put out, was Mike Fulgens from Universal Coin and Bullion in Beaumont, who is a award-winning author and an expert in gold, primarily gold coins. And his favorites are actually gold Indians. Nobody knows it, but he pushes the liberties, but his favorite are gold Indians. And he talked about the gold market today. And I would suggest that he probably said, and I wasn't here to listen, but you were, that the gold coins are scarce. They're a lot more scarce than anyone really knows. And I'll give you a couple of other things, just as has nothing to do with my subject at all, but there are 3 vignettes. The September futures market for gold out of buying futures goes through the London Gold Exchange. Anyone that sells futures are supposed to have that backed up with hard currency. A bunch of guys bought September futures. They bought lots of September futures. And they demanded delivery in hard currency, in hard gold, which you can do. Morgan Stanley was one of the companies. There are 3 companies over there that were caught in this situation. They didn't have the gold, which, by the way, is a violation of the London exchange's rules, but they didn't have the gold. They offered the buyer, the holder of the futures, they had offered them 25% profit on their investment, and they refused. They demanded gold. The Bank of London stepped in and lent these 3 companies gold, because it would have put them under. Somewhat like here. All right, take that. That says even the gold isn't there that we think it is. Next step. A North African country owed a significant debt to the furthest South African of countries. And to pay the debt, they sent gold bars. When they arrived, they were found to be magnetic. Excuse me, they were found to be attracted by magnets. Well, gold isn't, but steel is, okay? Gold-plated steel bars. Interesting. I don't know. I can't. Okay, so now, what is the metal that has the closest specific gravity to gold? It's tungsten. Is tungsten magnetic? Very slightly. If in fact we think that there's a lack of gold coins and gold to back a lot of the transactions that are going on, what would you think of a country all of a sudden buying up a whole bunch of tungsten? Known for counterfeiting. China they've been buying regularly about, like, let's say 10 million pounds. All of a sudden it went to 30. No particular reason. China is one of the largest gold buyers in the market. Gold went down 17 points today. Bet you a nickel, if you could find out, you'll find that very shortly China will be the buyer on that drop. And because they feel that they don't have enough gold, that they feel that gold standard is the important thing right now. So, vignettes, but I'm a guy that comes from a history of putting things together like that and trying to figure out a market. And
it tells me that with not only them, but Russia's buying some,
Yep.
and India's bought 200 tons.
Yep.
That they're either expecting a new currency, or they're expecting the value of our dollar to go down.
Yep, exactly. And they want hard currency, they want hard metal as their backup. And not knowing what else to do, that's the backup. So what I'm saying is these guys down here will tell you that if you want to buy 1 ounce of gold, it's going to probably cost you $120, maybe $150, maybe even $200 more to buy that 1 ounce. Why? Because that's what they have to pay to take it away from somebody else that has it. And that, to me, as soon as you start paying premiums on top of that, that tells me that there is a real shortage. You're having to, well, this is what Greg said, actually, having to buy it away from the other people. And that continues to go on. So.
Yeah, a few years ago, it was only like $30 over.
Yeah, $30 over melt. Yep. And that basically that's just the margin that the
$30 over, $30
Yeah.
under.
Tell you a story. I have one of my broker, stockbroker, helps at the show, and he just went out and bought. By the way, he bought gold. He and I have been talking for a long while about gold and join coins and that type of thing. And he went out and bought gold. He has gold at 340, and he just recently went out gold and bought, and one of his clients, and he went out and bought up a whole bunch of gold that was smelted by Houston Precious Metals into 1 ounce coins, and they paid something like $1,100. And he's been, and I've been on him, we've been on him for all this time, and he said, well, go buy gold mining stocks and the exchange traded fund GLD. Yeah, there's a lot of risk in that nowadays.
The problem with gold mining stocks is that you get a decrease in gold mining when you get the price of gold
Going up? And the other one I happen to say is you're
They tend to
investing, you're just
buy
investing in a
ideas.
company. You're investing in a company again, you're not investing in the hard asset, you're investing in a company that's selling a product. It happens to be gold. So, very interesting. Those are just things I throw together and am I a buyer of gold? Yes. Do I think it's a good investment? No. Do I think it's protection? Yes. What I'm buying are extremely rare coins, because I think that the people that have money are going to have money, and the people that collect very rare things are going to continue to collect very rare things. And I think that there's enough people out there that the liquidity will be such that rare coins will be, whether it's a gold coin or it's a copper coin. I don't deal in copper because I'm nervous about copper, but in silver.
When
And
will you be a seller on gold? What conditions would you be a seller?
I haven't thought about that. I really haven't thought about that, because I have thought, I am a believer in spreading my portfolio, and probably when I die, because I just believe that the portfolio should have metal in the portfolio, gold. Now, I consider my coin collection as an investment. That's probably a good excuse for doing what I like to do and keeping my wife happy, but I consider that an investment, because I'm investing in the rarest of every coin. Every coin out there, every coin that I own is, with a few exceptions, is the number one coin. And it is absolutely rare. And in some cases, for instance, a coin I don't have. There's a 1903 deep mirror proof like Morgan dollar in this auction, probably is going right now, that I'm going to buy. And that's pretty tough to say when you know that other people are bidding on it, but I'm going to buy that. And I have somebody that's representing me to buy that. Why? There are exactly 4 coins that have been graded by PCGS on that. There are exactly 3 coins that have been graded in any grade of that particular year, 1903, by NGC. There are only 2 coins in the grade that this is. These coins should be $50,000 coins. The last time that the coin sold it sold at $17,000. Why isn't it $50,000? Well, there's not enough people that are actually out there buying it yet. When will they be? When my book is published. When people are told there are raging values out there and they should get involved in the marketplace. And everyone writes about gold. Nobody writes really a lot about investing in silver coins. David, I hope we're not on. I hope I'm not on tape here. Because I'm not selling anything other than a concept. My concept is that if you invest in real rarity, that you'll always get your money back, plus. And Greg Bingham's presentation, I don't have it, or do I? I don't have it, yes I do, it's over here. Greg Bingham's presentations, my 4 cornerstones of investing, my 4 cornerstones of buying rare coins, same thing. Very interesting. It's just an investment in his case. For me, I'm a collector. And when will I sell gold? I don't think I ever will.